Hi, I'm Bob Ramsey, and this is A Big Idea. Lots of people tell you to live in the moment, and certainly there's some truth to this. It's good to stop and smell the roses, but as a leader, too much of this can be dangerous. Consider Aesop's fable of the ant and the grasshopper. The ant works all summer while the grasshopper plays. The grasshopper says, "Why are you working? Enjoy the day." And the ant says, "Winter is coming, I need to prepare." And then winter comes, and the ant is comfortable, and the grasshopper goes hungry. Notice the two strategies. The grasshopper is living in the moment, but the ant is thinking beyond the present moment. That's the difference of a temporal horizon, and this makes a big difference. In one study, researchers asked heroin addicts to finish two sentences. Sentence 1. After awakening, Bill began to think about his future. In general, he expected to... And sentence 2 was, Joe is having a cup of coffee in a restaurant. He is thinking of the time to come when... They also gave this exercise to a control group of demographically similar but non-addicted adults. And when they compared their responses, they found major differences. Let's look at the first sentence. People in the control group answered with things like get a promotion or get married. They had an average temporal horizon of 4.5 years. But the addicts answered differently. For example, they might say go to the doctor's office for an appointment. On average, the addicts use a temporal horizon of only 9 days. We see the same thing happening in the second sentence. People in the control group would answer with an average temporal horizon of about a week, while the addicts answer with an average time frame of about an hour. The results were clear. Addicts think in extremely short time frames, and this short temporal horizon leads to poor decisions. For example, when addicts play cards, they're more likely to follow risky strategies with big potential rewards, even though they can make more money with a more conservative strategy. When the researchers gave them a choice between $375 now or $1,000 in 12 months, they're more likely to take the immediate money. This pattern is clear. The shorter your time frame, the less you apply self-discipline in your decisions. That's the law of temporal horizon. And it doesn't just apply to addicts. Imagine yourself in a restaurant. What's going to help you stick to your diet? Smelling the unhealthy food? Or thinking about your blood pressure test next month? When you look into the future, you're more likely to make yourself do the right thing. That's the law of the temporal horizon. As your timeline expands, your self-discipline rises. Now, as a leader, remember this also applies to your people. If they engage in too much short-term thinking, then their self-discipline will drop and their productivity will drop. And this is more common than you might think. Now, here are two mistakes I often see. Mistake number 1 is micromanaging at the expense of purpose. Leaders can get so focused on monitoring performance that they forget to communicate the big picture. This inadvertently encourages a short temporal horizon. Mistake number 2 is over-encouragement at the expense of goals. Leaders can get so focused on motivation they don't connect it to long-term goals, and this can also compress their temporal horizon. Both of these mistakes can be deadly to your long-term success. Okay, so here are 3 tips. Tip number 1, expand your own temporal horizon. You can't help others think long-term if you're stuck in the present. So set some long-term goals. Set 10, 20, 50, 500-year goals. Read them every day and develop your own long-term thinking. Tip number 2, create a list of phrases that extend the temporal horizon. Then use those scripts in everyday conversation. For example, say things like, will this help us reach our 5-year goals? Or is this something we can want to make a habit out of? Or if we slept on it, would we think it's a good idea tomorrow morning? Work phrases like this into your natural vocabulary. And tip number 3 is write out the long-term vision for your team. Your people need something in the distance worth looking forward to. As a leader, it's your job to cast this vision and bring people back to it when times get tough. I'm out of time now, but I'd love to discuss some of my other techniques, such as how to deal with someone who refuses to think long-term and what to do with your temporal horizon when the future seems really uncertain. But for now, I hope this was valuable. So when you're leading people, always remember the law of the temporal horizon. I'm Bob Ramsey. Good luck.